15 bizarre and fascinating facts about Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill. You've seen his face in history books, and you know he was the guy who told Hitler to buzz off. But did you know he once broke out of a prison camp? Or that he invented his own onesie? Or that he was totally obsessed with pigs? That's right. Churchill was far more than the cigar-chomping, speech-giving hero we've come to know. Today we're uncovering 15 strange, funny, and downright bizarre facts about Winston Churchill. Let's dive in. Churchill escaping a prison camp sounds like something out of a movie. At just 25 years old, Churchill was working as a war correspondent during the Second Boer War when he was captured and thrown into a prison camp. But Churchill being Churchill, he wasn't about to stay there. One night, while the guards weren't looking, he climbed a wall and bolted into the wilderness. Here's the wild part. Churchill had no map, barely any food, and only a chocolate bar in his pocket. He traveled over 300 miles, hiding in coal mines and hitching rides on trains until he finally reached safety. When he returned to Britain, he was a national hero. Not bad for a guy whose best tool for survival was chocolate. Churchill's daily work routine was as bizarre as it was productive. Most people start their day with coffee. Churchill? He started his in bed surrounded by papers, cigars, and whiskey. He'd dictate letters and give orders from the comfort of his blankets, often without even getting up. But here's the kicker. Churchill was not a morning person. After working for a few hours, he'd take a 2-hour nap every single day. He swore it made him twice as productive. But let's be honest, Churchill just loved a good nap. If only we could get away with that at work. Churchill's love for champagne bordered on obsession. The man didn't just drink champagne, he practically made it part of his brand. His favorite, Paul Roger, became so closely associated with him that the company named a vintage after him. And get this, Churchill reportedly drank a bottle of champagne every single day, even during wartime. And it wasn't just champagne. When asked if he wanted water with his whiskey, Churchill famously said, "By all means, add the water, but don't forget the whiskey." Priorities, right? He loved planes, but he was terrified of flying. Churchill was instrumental in building the Royal Air Force into a powerhouse, but he refused to get on a plane unless it was absolutely necessary. He thought airplanes were death traps and was a nervous wreck every time he had to fly. Ironically, Churchill loved the idea of planes so much that he spent hours sketching his own designs. Did they ever see the light of day? Absolutely not. But hey, it's the thought that counts. The time Churchill got hit by a car in New York is pure British comedy. In 1931, Churchill was crossing the street when he looked the wrong way, forgetting that Americans drive on the opposite side of the road. A car slammed into him, leaving him with cracked ribs and bruises. But Churchill, being the master of words, called it an encounter with destiny. Only he could make getting hit by a car and make a joke out of it. Churchill thought pigs were the best animals. Forget cats and dogs, Churchill was all about pigs. He famously said, "Dogs look up to us, cats look down on us, but pigs treat us as equals." He admired pigs for being smart and honest. In fact, Churchill loved them so much that he kept a pet pig at one point. Honestly, who needs a golden retriever when you've got a pig to hang out with? Churchill hated the cramped space of Parliament. Even though he was famous for his speeches, he found the House of Commons way too stuffy. He often insisted on sitting near the exits and leaving the doors open because he felt like the chamber was suffocating. This is the same guy who spent hours in bomb shelters during air raids without any complaints. Churchill's comfort zones were definitely unique. Churchill was a secret artist and writer. When he wasn't saving the world, he was painting it, or writing about it. He wrote more than 40 books, earning the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1953. And then there was his art. Churchill painted over 500 works, mostly landscapes, which he used as a form of therapy to manage stress and depression. Turns out, even world leaders need a creative outlet. Churchill was fascinated by aliens. In 1939, he wrote an essay titled "Are We Alone in the Universe?", where he speculated about extraterrestrial life. He believed that with so many stars and planets out there, there had to be other civilizations. Honestly, Churchill was asking the big questions decades before sci-fi movies made it trendy. Someone put him on the next UFO documentary. And there you have it. 15 bizarre, hilarious, and fascinating facts about Winston Churchill. From breaking out of a prison camp to inventing his own fashion, Churchill wasn't just a leader, he was a full-on character. Which fact blew your mind the most? Drop it in the comments. And if you're into quirky history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more weird and wonderful history. Cheers to Churchill, history's quirkiest hero.